It's so good to have you here with us tonight. Okay, well, we could just go right into our inner space here. Taking some deep breaths, letting yourself be right here in this very moment. Using this very moment to come into your being. Letting this moment be the comfort that you seek. And again, going deeper within. Using right here, right now, to experience whatever it is that's here for you, whatever it is that's up right now. And if you're not sure what that is, using this moment to just see what it is. Knowledge requires no adjustments. And in fact is lost if any shift or change is undertaken. Who need adjust to truth, which calls on only what he is to understand. Our pure state of heaven requires no adjustments. Adjustments of any kind are of the ego. It is the ego's fixed belief that all relationships depend upon adjustments to make of them what it would have them be. Direct relationships in which there are no interferences are always seen as dangerous. The holy do not interfere with truth. They look on it directly, without attempting to adjust themselves to it or it to them. And so they see that it was in them, not deciding first where they would have it be. So all we need to do is not interfere with truth. That means that we look at every spot of shame, every spot of fear, every spot of righteousness, and we give it lovingly into Holy Spirit's hands. Give all the spots of suffering of any kind into Holy Spirit's hands. We can gently do that in our gathering here, offer over anything that's asking for a shift. So it's good to have you people here who are either new or haven't been here in a while. So we can kind of shift into part of the session where we open it up. If someone has something they'd like to let go of, something they'd like to release to come back to peacefulness.
I just recognize that I feel afraid to allow things to come up, to allow memories. It's just thoughts, and I'm not in touch with the emotions really. I just feel so scared of allowing anything. It just comes very.
Elena, you can still just be with whatever is here, whatever is here.
Yeah, mostly my mind is just, reject, distract. It's like I can't really sit still. It's easier when I'm out walking or move around, but it's really hard.
Well, maybe you can just take a deep breath right here. And it's okay if you're not having feelings in the moment. You don't have to try to make something happen. You can just be lovingly accepting of what is showing up in the moment.
Yeah, and I assumed that I was guided to go somewhere or do something today, and that I have dissociated or rejected it, or didn't want to hear. And it's been going on all day, and I'm questioning myself. Yeah, it's like failure.
Yeah. And all of that can be witnessed without needing to judge it.
I had my daughter here last night. I had so much resistance, and I didn't know what it was about. But actually, my older sister gave me a present, two glass angels. And the first thought I had was, I'm going to give one each to my daughters. And then the thought came, I can't do that in case my sister comes to visit and she will ask for them, And I thought it would hurt her to give that, to tell her that I gave them away. But it was so much resistance, so much things going on in the mind. I was so confused until I was here, my daughter. And after she left, I realized I actually wanted to give her, before she left, one of the angels.
Yeah, sounds very pure, an impulse.
Yeah. But I didn't, and I felt so bad about it. I lost the opportunity, and this morning when I woke up, I walked to the window and I had the two angels standing, one on each side of a lamp. And I accidentally happened to push one of the angels, so it broke. So I just been crying.
Yeah, and this whole kind of sharing around the angel is sort of, ego package. You get to feel so guilty about something and not doing something, and now an angel has broken. But the truth is that you can't break your innocence. You can't lose that. But you can look at what these symbols represent. Feelings of loss or something missed.
Yeah, I just want them to have that the symbol of an angel. Like, I don't know, it felt important to give it to her.
Yeah, I think it's always helpful to follow those inspirations that we get. But I think it's also important to see what that inspiration is about, because it sounds like it was a thought of being loving. And
Yeah.
whether the angel was given or not, whether the angel broke or not, the love is still there to give. You know, the love that you feel in your heart is still there.
Just
Yeah,
when that feeling of love comes when I want to give something, like the ego is fighting so hard against that I get so confused.
here's a little tip, is that the ego is always going to fight love. And it's always going to try to make us confused. But in the end, love is all that remains. So I think it's good to see all of this as just a learning opportunity. So that when another loving thought comes into your mind, yeah, maybe that one you do, you know. I know you do often do those kinds of things. So just this one, you had this sort of ego attack around, but you know, if you just kind of see this all as something that you want to heal and that you are healing, then there's just more space for spirit the next time something comes in.
Yeah. I feel to buy a new one.
Yeah. And just let yourself be with the feelings, I would say, for a while. And if you still feel that after you feel all the feelings, then yeah, you can do that. And maybe something else will come in, some other way of feeling loving. That's okay too. We don't need to try to make something right in form. Just keep hearing that same message that your innocence cannot be broken. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I think I'm going to move on here, but look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay, so we can go on to you. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I feel a little nervous sharing, but I can feel that there's just like a set of beliefs that I just don't want to protect anymore. And I keep working with them in my meditation, in my own ways, in my process. They feel very solid. At the heart of the matter is this idea that like I can't begin again, like I can't be redeemed for certain things that I've done. And like some of these, like whatever behaviors of the character are like it's funny. If I was able to laugh, I would laugh, because it's like these in my mind, I think these are never things that I would hold anyone else against, like I would hold against anyone else. But it's like with myself, it's like I can't be redeemed. And I can feel like I carry it forward. I'm carrying it forward. Or the ego is reminding me of the past images, like of the timeline. I mean, I can feel it's like in my body, when I just stay with the feelings and the sensations, I can feel, oh, this is the timeline. This is the timeline. But it's like I think I keep wanting a release from the guilt, a release from the sensations, a release from the feelings, a lightening of the attraction to the images of the past. And maybe that's happening. Maybe I'm just like not, I'm fixated as the doer, wanting something to shift in a particular way. But I just want to say it here. Like I want to withdraw like my investment in this belief. Yeah.
And are you open to sharing about one of these things? Sometimes being specific is really good for the healing.
Yeah. I mean, I can pick like this very minor one, but it's like, it's just the perfect symbol of the whole cluster. It's like this idea that I'm kind of disliked by a particular person, and she's girlfriend of a friend. Like it's like a little in my kind of matrix of humans, you know, and I can feel like, oh, I don't think she likes me. And I can kind of trace it back, like, oh, I said that, I did that. This is so mild in my life, really. It's like so not really important. But like yesterday, I took a walk with a friend and she said, oh, this person who dislikes me, like they were communicating. I just feel like if I make a gesture towards this person, it's like crickets. Like, and she just, I live in New York. She just ran the marathon. This woman who I think dislikes me, and I just sent her a text about the marathon. Not an acknowledgement. But then my friend is reporting in on their dialogue, and I'm like,
where do you feel this right now as you're sharing?
I can feel it in my chest.
Yeah, just let yourself feel the feelings.
Yeah, this place, it's like this story that like, oh, I did something like a little off. And now I don't even want like a friendship with this person. It's not even important to me, but it's just the place where it's like, I can't
You can just
forgive myself, you know?
Just breathe and feel what's here right now.
Okay.
And even put this idea that somehow you did something that wasn't quite right at some point in time. Just put that whole idea like on the shelf.
Okay.
Give it over for healing.
Hmm.
You know, you might never actually know if that was it. So you can just let it go. Because really it's just a burden to you, that belief that somehow
Yeah.
that is off or wrong.
Yeah.
And it just even comes back as that same message I gave to Lena, which is that, you know, you're perfectly innocent.
Right. Yeah. That's like at the heart of the matter, you know.
And to go even a little deeper, to see that your worth is not determined by what this person thinks of you. Your worth is determined by God, and that's fixed. You are loved by God, whether or not this person has a good opinion of you or not.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But even as we're talking about all this, just to keep allowing the feelings.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in touch with my innocence, you know. I mean, I know this is the process to get there, or whatever that means.
But your innocence is in touch with you.
It's like I can feel like in my process, like I can feel like the overlay and the story, like I can feel it, like the not selfness of it. But I'm still entangled. It's like I don't quite know how to unplug, you know. And I think there's a doer part in the process that's trying to kind of like thread the needle to unplug from this identification, you know. Not working. Despite my best efforts.
I heard a bit of your share in the background. I feel like you're in touch with your innocence. You're getting in touch with your innocence. And I can see how much love you have to share, how much love you're sharing, how much love wants to be shared through you. And you know, we don't get to decide where it lands or who receives it and who doesn't want to receive it. You know.
Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, I can definitely feel my longing to know my innocence, to know like the truth. That is just so strong. And I'm in touch with the a sense of confidence that that will eventually occur. And maybe today, you know, like, you know, I'm aware that this like kind of helper part that's like maybe that's just trying to help me along kind of puts it in the future, puts it like in the next moment and takes it out of the possibility of the now, just like the right here in this instant. So I guess I just want to lay this down. Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah, and it feels like there is hurt. I mean, you said,
yeah,
or you have done something that they don't love you, or they don't like you, but it almost feels like you feel hurt. You have some hurt from something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think what comes just to mind as you say that is like being misunderstood.
Yeah.
Like my goodness not seen somehow.
Yeah, but you don't know the reason someone has for not liking you, and I mean it's always fear. It's always fear behind it,
Mm-hmm.
or just ego, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we come to more and more like who needs to be liked, really. Like we don't need to be liked when we know we're so loved.
Yeah. And I'm really in touch with that as my focus. And it feels so painful, like, because I'm not like particularly concerned whether or not this person is in my, like that I have a relationship with this person, but I'm so affected by the idea that I'm disliked. And it's like, and I can feel it's like I'm holding on to something. I don't need something to change with her. I need something to change in here, you know. Yeah. The longing for liberation is getting stronger. I can feel it, you know. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's good to be vulnerable, actually, in these places where it's really honored. Who else would like to put something on the altar of healing?
Yes, hi. Well, I'm feeling my heart pounding, so I think it's worth sharing. It was just coming to me is not being liked. I have a deep belief that no one likes me. It's like an all-encompassing kind of belief. But I can also see that that's me, like I don't have self-acceptance, so it just keeps showing up. But what's hitting me now is like the character can never really have self-acceptance as such, because
Just forget the metaphysics for a moment.
yeah, so no, yeah, okay, but that's my process. That's where I got to.
Well,
actually, what would be relieving for me now is to accept that there's no self-acceptance. Like,
I just had something come in, and I know for me it disappears so quickly when it comes in from spirit, and if
yeah,
you know, I want to share it. It's this question, or it was this question coming in. The ego needs the idea. The ego, the way it shows up in you, for you, needs the idea that you're not liked by anybody.
yes.
It needs it badly. So this is good for you to know, because you don't need or want the ego.
Yeah, I'm recognizing as an ego self, I can never achieve self-acceptance. But what I can accept now is I can accept that there's no self-acceptance for me as a character. That feels like a permission to feel the lack of self-acceptance, because it runs very, very deep.
Yeah, if it works for you.
Sorry.
if that works for you, but you could also actually not accept it.
Not accept that I'm not acceptable. Yes. I mean, we can't be
Like pray
acceptable
for
as
shit.
characters because that's the ego. The ego is not acceptable.
That's what I mean. You know the metaphysics. Forget about them. And realize the ego needs the idea that you can never be liked to keep you in its grip.
Right. I'm not sure I'm understanding the subtlety.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you don't have to understand it as much as sitting with it.
Yeah, sure. Something feels incomplete for some reason.
Yeah, because I think it is a strong defense. The idea, I am not liked.
But isn't it a reflection of I find myself unlikable or unacceptable? Isn't it like just a reflection?
It is a defense.
Yeah. I think there's something underneath it, maybe that will unlock it for me is it's like a shock in the mind, like, can I really be this bad? And it comes with like a frozenness, like freeze response, like, oh my God, am I really this bad? And as I meditate in the session, I was feeling the frozen, literally like coldness, the frozenness of the fear in my back. Like, I mean, I had a lot of trauma, and I think that's why I find self-acceptance really hard. Yeah, like I said, it's not specific, but it's getting in touch with intense physiological, like really, really intense physiological feelings, from frozenness to like pounding pain in my lower back.
Yeah, and maybe these are inroads, these physical sensations, the frozenness and the pain. Those three different things can be inroads to healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think you're very smart and your mind quickly goes to intellectual thinking about it, figuring it out, explaining it. But actually sitting through it or moving if you feel frozen, but to not even think so much, you know.
Yes.
One of the gifts that I received early on was don't figure it out. Just don't figure anything out.
Yes.
Don't make a train of thoughts.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. It's time to stop figuring out and experience my way out of trouble.
Yeah. I was going to say, maybe you take a dance class even, Myrna.
Yes. Yeah, I've been looking for a long time. I keep looking. I love dancing and movements. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mona. Who else has something calling for a shift?
My heart is pounding. And I'm aware of, I have a kind of a belief that I'm not going to be able to put words on it or do it good enough. And I'm not even actually sure what I want to share or why I want to share. I'm in contact with a very critical voice, especially today. I'm beginning to see how it seems to turn up in the seemingly outside world, and I'm beginning to realize it is my critical voice I hear. been able to sometimes just stop and ask Peter and actually tell him what it is I hear and ask if that's what he's saying.
Was that what he was saying?
No, part of me knew he wasn't saying that, but I just needed to word that there was this kind of translation in my mind. It's just something very critical.
Yeah, it was very critical.
Yeah. And it's somehow connected with my asthma. Today, we went somewhere. We went actually to Jonas's parents yesterday. I think that might have been part of whatever comes up for healing today. There's a lot around specialness. I do realize that. And they had a dog and a cat, and I had strong asthma coming up, and it had been kind of going on through the night and today. What I've experienced is that whenever this critical thing come in, I can't breathe. And then I've also experienced being able to just expose it and then I can breathe again.
How beautiful. Very helpful.
Yeah,
Learning.
kind of helpful too. So yeah, I think that's that and the hiddenness, you know, the hiding this really critical voice is what's kind of surfacing at the moment. And I could see it was the same voice that said, no, you know, you can't share. You can't speak up. It's inappropriate. Yeah.
Maybe the critical voice is like an addiction.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That resonates.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about people who try to get out of an addiction. They have to become really conscious about it, to not fall into it. And maybe this example of what you thought Peter said was not what he said will help. So he's kind of making it conscious. It's going to be really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a very intense voice when it's there. It's the film Violet just comes into my mind when it goes into red screen. That's but it feels like now I have a kind of a tool of not going into total red screen.
Yeah, you have the tool and you have the power to also question it, you know, in your mind. It can be helpful, like with Peter or others, to ask them directly, was this what you said? But you can also get it from within. Is this what they said? Is this what is true about me? You know, you can start to really question these conclusions that you make about you. And because I think those conclusions are the addiction to self-attack.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, the self-attack, like in the physical, the asthma, and the scratching, the skin, the eczema.
I'm glad you shared, even though you didn't know what to share or why, or you knew.
Yeah. Thank you. Love you.
Yeah, love you.
Yeah, I just find that I'm really sensitive to people's sharings. Like I feel like I get kind of into other people's sharings, and then I feel like really deeply like what they're feeling, experiencing what they're experiencing, and I don't know whether that's like what should be going on, or I don't know. Like I just, yeah, like I feel like it's a lot.
So you felt this with someone here tonight?
Yeah, I just felt it with Lena and with Muna and with Tove, and it was all different feelings, but it was like always really, really, really intense. And I don't know what to kind of hold in my mind, like.
Yeah, I think it is, working with the true empathy. Jesus talks about, you don't need to go into the suffering and share the suffering, because it cannot be shared. So he's encouraging us to stand quietly by and to observe and let spirit empathize through you. And he's saying his way is very different. He does not enter into suffering to believe in it or to make it real. And I think anytime we do that, you probably have something in you that you're healing that is similar, or
Yeah, I have the thought that sometimes it's just like helpful to get in touch with like a feeling, or
yeah. I think we have different ways that we're called to work with our mind and heal. I think maybe I have even a very different way from Barret's way. We have different ways, and for me, I think like the whole world is my mind, for example. Like everything I perceive is something I need to heal or forgive. In that sense, there is no other person's stuff going on. But the world is not real. So, but yeah, we cannot experience that the world is not real unless we transcend our perceptions, our beliefs, and our feelings. But yeah, I think it's always also a helpful practice to give over the people. But then the sensitivity and being so open is something the Holy Spirit can use, I think it's one thing to feel it, to kind of know it. And there's another thing to suffer in it, I feel a big difference there. You can recognize it or know it, if you listen to someone and you really feel their feelings, it's like knowing it. And that's different than going into it and suffer in it. It's a big difference.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because I feel like I've done that. I've played that out with my family. Like I would always take on everybody's emotions, like my mom and my aunties, like they'd all be so kind of emotional, and from a really like young age I used to just take it on.
Like you get sucked in.
Yeah. And then kind of think it was my thing. Mine.
Not your job. It's not your job to take on their suffering. I think that's what Jesus means. So not take it on. It's to not enter into it. To stand safe in the light, in the spirit. Just give over the whole perception. And ask Spirit, is there something to say or do? But that would be up to the Holy Spirit.
Like Jenny said, we do kind of have different ways of working with some things, and yeah, I think sometimes if it's very clear that it's like quote unquote someone else's feelings or stuff, another way that it can be released is just to recognize that. I just think of handing it over to Holy Spirit, almost like if you get a piece of mail that's not addressed to you. You just write return to sender on it. And you give it back to the postman, Like if you get some sadness, it's not yours, just return to sender. I just, Holy Spirit will take care of it. Whatever healing's required, it doesn't have to be your job. But of course, yeah. So that's another tool in your tool belt. But if their sadness is bringing up your sadness, then of course you got to do that yourself. But that still is Holy Spirit's job, really. It's not even your job. You just have to be open to handing it over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's my job a lot of the time. And that gets very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
For a miracle worker,
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Very beautiful being with you all. As always, we receive donations for those who feel called to give and support our ability to do these sessions. I always appreciate them. So several of you have given recently, and we thank you. And it's always no problem if you're unable to give, but we always welcome that.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in. I'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you next time.